You've been here before. You're staring at the screen. Charts dance, candles twitch. You know the setup isn't clean. You know the rules say no entry, and still, your finger moves. Click. By the close, you're staring at a loss. You feel regret, confusion, frustration. And deep down, you ask the question every serious trader eventually must ask: why do I keep sabotaging myself, even when I know better? Section 1. The Mirror Principle. You're trading your psychology. What if I told you something that changes everything? You're not trading the market. You're trading your own mind. We like to think trading is about signals, setups, and strategies. We believe that once we crack the code, the perfect pattern, the magical formula, we'll be free. But look closer. The setup was valid, the rules were clear, and yet you still acted emotionally. You forced the trade, you chased, you hesitated, you froze. So, clearly, it's not the market that broke, it was you. The truth? The market isn't your opponent, your psychology is. Let me tell you about Bill Hwang, trading genius, Wall Street legend. A man who turned $200 million into $20 billion. He could move entire markets with his orders, respected, feared, untouchable, or so everyone thought. But success hit a fatal flaw, an unshakable belief in his own rightness, amplified by extreme leverage. March 2021. A few positions turned against him. Instead of cutting losses, he doubled down. I'm Bill Hwang, his mind whispered. I don't lose. In 48 hours, 20 billion vanished, not gradually, like a nuclear detonation. The shockwave rippled through global markets. Banks lost billions. Careers ended. All because one man couldn't accept he was wrong. He didn't lose to bad analysis. He didn't lose to lack of information. He lost to his own mind. And if a billionaire genius can be destroyed by his psychology, what chance do you have if you ignore yours? Here's the shift you need to make. Every trade is a mirror. It reflects everything. Your mindset in that moment, your patterns playing out, your fears controlling you, your ego needing to be right, your discomfort with uncertainty, your revenge after losses, your greed after wins. Every candle, every click, every decision, it's all just a projection of what's happening inside you. Let that sink in. Now, I'm not saying setups don't matter. They do. But here's what they don't tell you in courses. A perfect setup in the hands of a broken mindset is a guaranteed loss. Think of trading like surgery. Anyone can hold a scalpel, but only a trained surgeon knows when to cut, and more importantly, when not to. Your psychology is that training, your ability to pause, to recognize emotions as they arise, to observe instead of react. That's your real edge. So, let me ask you, when was the last time you took a trade you knew you shouldn't? What emotion was running the show? How did you justify it in that moment? What would have happened if you'd paused for just 10 seconds? Reflection isn't weakness. It's the beginning of mastery. Here's what I want you to do today. Pick one losing trade from your journal. Forget the chart. Ignore the technicals. Just write down 3 things. First, what emotion pulled the trigger? Fear, greed, boredom, revenge? Second, what story did you tell yourself? This is my last chance. I need to make back that loss. Third, what would have changed if you'd taken one deep breath and waited 10 seconds? Then write this rule. Next time I feel that emotion, I will specific action. Maybe it's, next time I feel revenge, I will close all charts for 5 minutes. Or, next time I feel FOMO, I will write why I want this trade before entering. That's your first real playbook entry, not a chart pattern, a pattern of self-awareness. Because if you can't trade your own psychology, you'll never survive the market. The real battle isn't on your screen. It's in your mind, in your reactions, in your stories, in the gap between what you know and what you do. And the moment you start studying yourself with the same intensity you study charts, everything changes. But here's what most traders miss entirely. Section 2. One good trade, the pro mindset revolution. Let me ask you something. Do you trade to win, or do you trade to be right? Most traders confuse the two. They think they're the same, but they're not. Wanting to be right, that's your ego talking. Wanting to win, that's your edge thinking. And until you understand the difference, you'll keep making right-feeling trades that drain your account. Because in trading, the market doesn't care how much sense your idea makes. It only cares how you execute over and over, with discipline, detachment, and clarity. Here's what separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs chase wins. Professionals chase process. They focus on one thing: making one good trade. Not 10 trades, not one perfect prediction, just one good decision, repeated with consistency. This is the foundation of pro mindset. At SMB Capital, every new trader is taught this mantra: one good trade. They write it. They repeat it. They build their entire identity around it. Because if you can focus on just one quality trade, you've already done more than most traders ever manage in an entire month. Now, let me tell you a story. A new trader joined SMB. He was smart, obsessed, came from a tech background. He coded indicators, back-tested models, simulated thousands of setups. But his P&L, bleeding red. Why? Because he was trading to prove himself, not to grow. He was trading to feel smart, not to follow structure. Every loss felt like a personal attack. Every win felt like a validation of his worth. Think of it like this. He was treating trading like a final exam where every answer determined his GPA. Exhausting, right? And that emotional yo-yo destroyed him, until one coach sat him down and said, "Forget your P&L. Just focus on making one good trade a day. That's it. If it checks your rules, it counts. If it doesn't, walk away." The trader fought it, but eventually he surrendered to the idea. Within a few months, his performance shifted, not because he changed his setup, but because he changed himself. You are not your account balance. You are not your last trade. You are not smart or stupid based on your win rate. You are a process. You are a system in progress. And until you think like a professional, you'll never perform like one. So here's what pro mindset looks like. Detach from outcome. One trade doesn't define you. Obey your edge. Only trade what's in your playbook. Focus on process, not prediction. Celebrate discipline, not just profit. Review performance, not emotions. It's not glamorous, but it's scalable, and scalable is what gets you paid. Once you stop needing to win every trade, you start winning more trades, because desperation repels success. But process attracts it. Think about this. What do you chase more, the feeling of being right, or the act of doing what's right? How would your trading change if your only goal was to make one good trade per day? Are you more focused on outcomes or execution? Today, print this sentence and tape it to your screen. I don't trade to win. I trade to follow my edge. Then write down, in one sentence, what one good trade means for you. This will be the first line in your playbook, and it will shape every decision that follows. Because when you think like a professional, the market starts respecting you back. Pro traders don't chase money. They chase precision. They chase process. They chase one good trade again and again until it becomes who they are. Now, you might be thinking, but how do I build this mindset alone? That's exactly the trap. You're probably doing this alone. You watch videos, read books. You stare at charts late at night, convincing yourself that this next tweak, this next idea, is the breakthrough. But let me ask you, would you try to become an Olympic athlete without a coach? Would you teach yourself how to box, alone in your bedroom, and then step into a real ring? Of course not. And yet, that's exactly how most traders try to grow. Solo, unstructured, echo-chambered, winging it in a zero-sum game where professionals are trained, not just talented. It's like trying to perform your own root canal using YouTube tutorials. Technically possible? Sure. Smart? Hell no. That's why you need to understand this. Trading is a performance sport, and every performer needs accountability. At SMB Capital, traders aren't just taught setups, they're coached. The way elite athletes are, there are drills, reviews, corrections. Every trader records their screens. Every trade is watched, broken down, questioned, refined. There's accountability, there's feedback. And most importantly, there's mirroring. Because here's the truth, you can't see your own blind spots. You can't outthink your own patterns while you're inside them. That's what a coach does. They see the things you refuse to acknowledge. They stop you from repeating the exact same mistake, with slightly different candles. Let me show you what that looks like. A trader at SMB had a habit. He'd cut winners too soon, over and over. No matter how often he journaled, the behavior didn't change. Then during a screen review, his coach froze the video and asked, "Why did you exit here?" You had no exit signal, no context change, just fear. The trader tried to justify, but the evidence was right there, on screen, in real time. It wasn't a setup issue. It wasn't discipline. It was a patterned response to temporary discomfort, a loop. That one coaching session rewired him more than 10 books ever could. Because when someone else holds the mirror, you can't lie to yourself anymore. Now here's what's interesting. Even if you trade solo, you don't have to be solo. Your environment is always training you, whether you realize it or not. Darren learned this the hard way. He traded alone for months, built good habits, but plateaued fast. His edge was decent, but when he journaled, he lied to himself subtly. Then he joined a remote trading accountability group. Just 5 traders, weekly reviews, daily screen sharing. Within 3 weeks, his win rate didn't change, but his discipline did. Because now, someone was watching. Not to judge, to reflect. Self-deception breaks under shared attention. So, whether you have a formal coach or not, here's how to build accountability. Record your screen every session. Use Loom, OBS, anything. Find one accountability partner. Daily 5-minute check-ins. Weekly trade review exchange. Swap 2 trades. Give honest feedback. Narrate your trades aloud while entering. Your voice reveals your true mindset. Sunday self-coach session. Ask, if I were coaching me, what would I say? You don't need a prop desk. You need presence, even if it's virtual. Think about it. Who's holding you accountable right now? What blind spots do you suspect might be hurting you? What part of trading alone serves you versus limits you? This week, find one accountability partner. Set this simple agreement. Let's check in for 5 minutes each day. 1 win, 1 mistake, 1 intention. You'll be shocked how quickly your self-awareness grows when someone else is listening. Discipline thrives in visibility. You can't fix what you won't face, and you can't face what you refuse to see. But when you create accountability, formal or informal, you step out of echo chamber mode and into accelerated growth. Speaking of transformation, let's talk about the most important shift of all. Section 4, Identity Architecture, Becoming the Trader Who Wins. Let's cut deeper. You don't just act like a trader, you become one, or you don't. And until you see yourself as a trader, not just someone who tries trading, your results will always betray your self-image. So here's the uncomfortable question. Do you trade like someone who's testing a hobby or embodying a profession? Because make no mistake, the market knows. It reflects exactly how seriously you take yourself. Your identity leaks into your discipline. Your beliefs show up in your execution. And who you are will always override what you know. Think about it. You wouldn't trust a sometime surgeon or a hobby pilot. Why would the market trust a maybe trader? At SMB, new traders are drilled on mindset. But it's not just discipline they teach, it's identity building. Every trade reinforces one of 2 identities: the amateur, emotional, inconsistent, reactive; the professional, process-driven, self-aware, focused. And over time, those micro-decisions become who you are. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a difference between the amateur who stays amateur and the amateur who evolves into a self-aware machine. Amateur traders think they have a strategy problem, but what they really have is a self-reflection problem. They don't know how they behave under pressure, what triggers their overtrading, why they keep cutting winners when they get cocky, what patterns lead to blow-ups. So they change strategies, but not themselves, and nothing sticks. The self-aware machine tracks their mental state as aggressively as they track charts. They know what time of day they tilt, what setup they overtrade, what mood leads to best performance, what words they say before self-sabotage. That's what makes them dangerous. They're not just aware of the market, they're aware of themselves inside the market. Let me tell you about Eric. He started out like most, working a job, trading part-time, obsessively checking Reddit, trying new indicators every week. He thought of himself as a hustler, a learner, maybe one day I'll make it guy. And you know what that identity got him? Half-committed actions, half-baked results. Until one day, a coach asked him, what would change if you called yourself a trader, right now, and started acting like it? That question rewired something. Eric stopped trying things. He created a schedule. He built his playbook. He reviewed daily. He wore the identity first, and let his results catch up later. But here's the key. He also built an awareness dashboard. He tracked per session, clarity from 1 to 10, impulsiveness from 1 to 10, fatigue from 1 to 10, presence from 1 to 10. After 20 sessions, patterns emerged. He could predict his mistakes before making them. 3 months later, He had his first five-figure month. Not because he got smarter, but because he got clearer on who he was becoming. So, how do you build your trading identity and the awareness to protect it? Write a trading identity statement. I am a trader who acts, thinks, and executes like. Create pattern recognition. Go through your last 20 trades. Label them: revenge trade, impulse entry, hesitation despite setup, good trade but early exit, tilt size reaction, install behavioral triggers. If clarity drops below 5, pause 10 minutes. If impulsiveness spikes, reduce size. If overconfidence detected, narrate trade aloud. Daily identity audit. Did today's trades align with who I say I am? Because identity without awareness is blind, and awareness without identity is aimless. You need both. Ask yourself, what words describe the trader you are today? What patterns would a coach immediately spot in your trading? What's one behavior that doesn't match your stated identity? Write your identity statement and pick one metric to track for awareness. Start simple. I am a trader who respects rules over impulses. Track your impulse score from 1 to 10 per session. You don't become a trader when you make money. You become one when you act like it, consistently. And when you add self-awareness to identity, you become unstoppable. Now that you know who you are, let's build what you trade. If I asked you to show me your best trade setup, not just describe it, but show it, could you? Could you pull up a chart, outline the context, define the risk, explain the trigger, walk me through your exit? Or would you hesitate? Would it be fuzzy? Because if it's fuzzy, it's not scalable. And if it's not scalable, it's not professional. That's where your playbook comes in. Your playbook isn't a notebook of ideas. It's your personal trading system. It's your competitive edge, made visible, documented, and ready to execute. Imagine a chef trying to run a restaurant without recipes. Sure, they can cook, but can they scale? Can they teach? Can they be consistent when tired? That's the difference. Here's what most traders do wrong. They chase setups like shiny objects. One day it's breakout plays. Next week it's reversals. Then they try crypto, options, scalping, futures. And months later, they're exhausted, but still inconsistent because they never built one solid blueprint. The playbook solves that. At SMB, every developing trader builds one, page by page, setup by setup. Not theory, but real trades with real screenshots and deep post-trade breakdowns. One trader at SMB, we'll call her Maya, only traded opening drive reversals. She didn't touch anything else. But in her playbook, she had screenshots of perfect examples, context notes, volume, prior day level, market trend, entry conditions, price action cues, confirmation triggers, risk rules, how she sized in, where she placed stops, exit strategy, partial outs, trailing, targets, mistake patterns, what not to do, self-review, emotional state before and after. Final note, one sentence about what she learned. That setup made her over 250 Ks in her second year. Not because she traded everything, but because she mastered something. But here's what made Maya different. She didn't just document one version of her setup. She studied it from multiple angles. The four-dimensional playbook approach, directional variations, long version versus short version, different behaviors, different management, context, variations, trending market behavior, range-bound market behavior, news-driven versus technical, time variations, opening 30 minutes, midday setups, closing dynamics, psychological variations, who's trapped on the other side, what's the pain trade, where do people panic, same setup name, 4 different personalities, all documented. Your playbook is how you build that level of mastery. Here's your 90-day playbook building system. Days 1 to 30, foundation document. 3, A+ setups completely, setup name, give it identity, context, snapshot, market environment required, entry criteria, exact triggers, risk protocol, stop placement, sizing, exit strategy, targets, management, mistake, tracker, common errors, emotional log, your state during trade, lesson summary, 1 key learning, 1 setup per week, 3 total, days 31 to 60, dimensions. Take each setup and explore opposite direction version, different market contexts, time of day variations, psychological dynamics, Days 6190, refinement. Live trade-only playbook setups. Document every instance. Track success rates per variation. Refine rules based on data. By day 90, you won't just have a playbook, you'll have a precision instrument. This week, document one setup completely. Include 3 winning examples with screenshots. Include 1 losing example. What went wrong? Include your emotional state during each. Include 1 sentence lesson from each. That's your first playbook page. Your real edge begins here. Ask yourself, do I really know my setup, or do I just think I do? Could someone else trade my setup from my notes? What variation of my setup do I avoid documenting? That's usually where the gold is. Great traders don't collect setups. They master setups from every angle. Depth beats breadth every time. Your playbook isn't just documentation. It's your trading DNA made visible. Build it like your career depends on it, because it does. You know what to trade, but do you know what you actually do? Section 6, the complete review system, video truth, and feedback loops. Here's something uncomfortable. You think you know what you did in a trade, but you don't. You remember the entry, the exit, maybe the result. But the hesitation before clicking, the microsecond glance at Twitter, the sigh, the eye roll, the justification you made in your head, you forget all of that. But video doesn't. That's why every elite trader has a complete review system. Not just journaling, not just thinking about trades, but objective evidence combined with systematic analysis. It's like the difference between thinking you're a good dancer and then seeing yourself on video at a wedding. Reality check. Delivered. Let me show you the 2-part system that transforms traders. Part 1. Video truth. At SMB, traders record every session. Then, often painfully, they watch, frame by frame, mouse click by mouse click. And in that honest mirror, patterns emerge, not chart patterns, mind patterns. Marcus was convinced his issue was entry timing, so he rewatched his footage, trade by trade. And what did he discover? His entries were actually decent, but every time he had a small winner, he froze, unwilling to re-enter when the setup reappeared. Why? Because he feared losing the win he just locked in. He was protecting his ego, not executing his edge. And without video, he never would have caught it, because in his head, it sounded smart. In video, it looked like fear. Part 2. The evolution loop. But video alone isn't enough. You need a system to turn observations into evolution. Here's the thing. You don't grow by trading. You grow by reviewing. Every trade gives you data, but without a feedback loop, that data dies. It never becomes insight. It never becomes evolution. Alex used to end every week frustrated. No real sense of why he was losing. He blamed the market. Then he started the complete system. Daily process. Record every session. Flag emotional trades. Quick review before bed. Weekly deep dive. Watch flag trades on video. Categorize mistakes into setup failures. Market didn't cooperate. And execution failures. You didn't cooperate. Pattern recognition. What keeps repeating? 1 adjustment. What small change for next week? After 3 weeks, his bad trades dropped 70%. Not because the market changed, but because his self-awareness exploded. Your complete review system. Daily, 10 minutes. Rate session quality from 1 to 10 on setup discipline, emotional control, and rule following. Flag any trades that felt off. 1-line lesson of the day. Weekly, 30 minutes. Watch video of flagged trades. Ask, was this playbook or ego? Identify 1 pattern to improve. Set 1 specific goal for next week. Monthly, 60 minutes. Review all weekly patterns. Update playbook with new insights. Celebrate process improvements. Adjust risk and goals if needed. The magic questions. After each review, ask, what did I think I was doing? What was I actually doing? What would I tell someone else who did this? What's my commitment for next time? The gap between the first 2 questions, that's where your edge hides. This week, record at least 1 trading session. Watch yourself trade 1 position. Write what surprised you. Make 1 micro adjustment. Start small. The habit matters more than perfection. Think about, what truth about my trading am I avoiding? If someone else watched my trades, what would they notice immediately? Am I reviewing to improve or just to feel productive? The best traders don't have the best setups. They have the best self-awareness. And self-awareness comes from evidence, not opinion. Your memory tells stories. Your video tells truth. Your review system turns truth into transformation. Combine all three, and you become unstoppable. But what happens when you see the truth and it hurts? Section 7. The wisdom of losses. Learning from pain. Let's get this straight. You don't learn much from winning, but you can learn everything from losing if you know how to look. Most traders fear losses. They avoid them, hide from them, blame them. They'll say it was a fake out, a manipulation, or just bad luck. Like blaming the rain for getting wet when you forgot your umbrella. The rain doesn't care about your plans. But here's the deeper truth about trading pain. Becoming a professional trader isn't a glow-up. It's a breakdown, followed by a rebuild. This path isn't glamorous. It's screen fatigue at 1 a.m. It's losing money the right way and still feeling like a failure. It's your friends not understanding. It's your family asking why. It's uncertainty. Every single day. And the pain isn't just about losing. It's about who you become in the process. Let me tell you about two traders who learned this differently. Daniel, learning from losses. Third month at SMB, 7 red days straight. Almost quit. Thought he was regressing. His coach made him sort every loss. Setups that failed, market didn't cooperate. Trades he failed, he didn't follow rules. Results. 3 were textbook losses, part of the game. 2 were emotionally driven. 2 were win-seeking trades outside his playbook. The clarity changed everything. I'm not broken. I just drifted from process. He tightened focus, adjusted risk. Cold streak ended because he evolved. Jordan, learning from pain. Month 1, excited. Month 2, confused. Month 3, furious. Month 4, numb. Month 5, profitable. What changed? Not his strategy. His relationship with discomfort. He stopped trying to escape the pain. He started learning from it. Every day, same setup, same risk, same discipline, no hero moves, no panic, no ego. The pain wasn't punishment. It was purification. Here's what separates those who quit from those who thrive. Quitters think, this shouldn't be so hard. Maybe I'm not cut out for this 6 months and no progress. Pain means failure. Survivors know, trading is supposed to be hard. You're rewiring decades of patterns while money's on the line. Slow progress is still progress. Pain means growth. Your pain navigation system. Create a loss archive. Screenshot clean losses, good trade, bad result. Study what the market was teaching. Look for environmental changes you missed. Track pain patterns. What hurts most? Being wrong, losing money, missing moves? When do you feel it? After losses, during drawdowns, when others win? How do you respond? Revenge trade, shut down, overtrade? Reframe your timeline. James almost quit after 10 months of losses, then wrote, "The only difference between me and pros, they lasted longer through the same pain." Gave himself 12 more months, not to get rich, to get consistent. He's still trading full-time now. Extract the lesson. Every painful moment teaches something, a loss that taught patience. A drawdown that revealed over-leveraging. A missed trade that showed unclear rules. A tilt session that exposed ego. Write these down. They're more valuable than wins. This week, do something radical. Take your most painful recent trading memory. Write what it taught you. Thank it. Yes, really. Share the lesson with one person. Pain shared becomes wisdom multiplied. Ask yourself, what story do I tell myself when trading hurts? Do I run from pain or study it? What would change if I saw pain as education, not punishment? The market doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your education. And sometimes the most expensive lessons are the ones that finally make you profitable. Losses are data. Pain is feedback. Together, they're your greatest teachers. The question isn't whether trading will hurt. It's whether you'll let it help you grow. Speaking of growth, let's talk about your inner enemy. Section 8. The biology of trading, mastering your nervous system. Your biggest enemy isn't the market, it's your nervous system. When you click buy, your body can't tell the difference between trading and being hunted. Heart rate spikes, breathing shallows. Cortisol floods your system. Your prefrontal cortex, logic, goes offline. Your amygdala, fear, takes the wheel. This isn't weakness, it's biology. And until you understand it, you'll keep losing to an invisible opponent. Let me show you what this looks like in real time. Leo had every tool, clear setups, risk rules, daily journaling, even meditation. But after 2 losses, immediate revenge trade with double size, every single time. During video review, the pattern was obvious. Loss number 1, slight tension. Loss number 2, clenched fists, forward lean. Loss number 3, rapid breathing, instant click. His conscious mind said, follow the rules. His nervous system said, danger, fight back. Guess which one won? Here's the thing about your trading biology. Your body is running software from 200,000 years ago. Back then, hesitation meant death. Quick action meant survival. Resources were scarce. Lose some, get them back now. Sound familiar? That's your revenge trading. That's your FOMO. That's your inability to sit in drawdown. It's not a character flaw. It's ancient programming in a modern game. The solution isn't to fight your biology, it's to work with it. Your nervous system. Toolkit. Recognition before regulation. You can't change what you don't notice. Build awareness of your physical state. Green zone, calm, relaxed shoulders, steady breath. Yellow zone, alert. Slight tension, faster thoughts. Red zone, triggered. Clenched muscles, shallow breathing. Check your zone before every trade. The physiological reset. When you notice yellow or red zone, box breathing, 4-4-4-4. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Peripheral vision. Look at corners of screen for 10 seconds. Cold water, splash face or wrists. Movement, stand and do 5 squats. These aren't just nice ideas. They literally change your brain chemistry. Before entering any position, state check. What zone am I in? Intention. I'm entering because of edge, not emotion. Breath. 3 deep breaths. Posture. Sit back, shoulders down. This becomes your pre-trade ritual, like a fighter entering the ring. The biology journal, track alongside your trades, physical state before entry, a 1 to 10 tension. Breathing pattern, shallow or deep. Body position, forward or relaxed. Post-trade physical response. After 20 trades, patterns emerge. You'll see how your body trades before your mind does. Advanced technique, HRV training. Some traders use heart rate variability monitors. They only trade when HRV shows parasympathetic dominance, calm state. It's like having a biological trading indicator. Remember Serena from earlier? She added one rule, can't re-enter until my breath is steady for 10 counts. That biological checkpoint broke her revenge pattern. Because a calm body makes better decisions than a triggered one. Tomorrow, run this experiment. Set a timer for every 30 minutes while trading. When it goes off, rate your physical tension from 1 to 10. Note what happened in the market just before. Look for correlation between market events and body response. You'll be shocked at what you discover. Think about, what market events trigger my fight or flight response? Can I catch myself shifting zones before I make bad trades? What would change if I traded only from green zone? Your mind might know the setup, but your body pulls the trigger. Master your physiology first. The psychology follows. Elite traders aren't emotionless. They're just faster at recognizing and regulating their biological responses. Your body is sending signals all day. The question is, are you listening? Now let's talk about measuring the right kind of success. Pop quiz. When was the last time you celebrated a perfect losing trade? When was the last time you felt guilty about a profitable mistake? If you're like most traders, you've got it backwards. Your current success formula. Green day equals good trader. Red day equals bad trader. This programs you for sloppy winners that reinforce terrible habits, perfect executions that feel like failures, desperate profit chasing, process abandonment. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Process is the profit. Money is just the scoreboard. You can't control P&L, but you can control setup quality, risk discipline, emotional regulation, review consistency. These compound predictably. Random profits don't. Let me tell you about Rachel's transformation. 3 weeks straight of red, but every trade, playbook perfect. Clean entries, proper stops, calm execution. She felt crushed. I'm doing everything right, but still losing. Her coach dropped truth. You're not failing. Your process is just ahead of your results. Stay faithful. Week 4, deep green. She changed nothing, time caught up to process. That's when she learned the most important lesson. The market pays randomly short-term, but rewards process long-term. Here's how to rewire your success system. The process scorecard rate each day on what you can control. Set up quality from 1 to 10. Was it truly A+ from your playbook, or were you forcing or reaching? Execution precision from 1 to 10. Entry at planned trigger, stop where it should be, size appropriate. Emotional mastery from 1 to 10. Stayed in green zone, no revenge or FOMO trades. Handled losses professionally. Learning extraction from 1 to 10. Reviewed trades, found one lesson, updated playbook. Your daily score out of 40. This becomes your real P&L. Process celebration. Rituals. The key is rewarding right behavior immediately. Skipped a B setup. Stand up and stretch in the sun. Followed stop perfectly. Write discipline in your journal. Stayed calm during drawdown. Text your accountability partner a win. Completed daily review. Watch 10 minutes of something you enjoy. Sounds silly? It's neuroscience. You're literally rewiring what your brain considers success. The 90-day process challenge for the next 90 days. Track process score daily. Celebrate one process win each day. Share weekly process average, not P&L, with accountability partner. Journal how this changes your trading psychology. Watch what happens when you stop needing every trade to work. Advanced process tracking. Create a process equity curve. Start at 100 points. Each day you score 30+ out of 40, add 2 points. Each day under 20 out of 40, subtract 2 points. Plot this daily. Most traders find their process curve predicts their P&L curve by 2 to 4 weeks. When process equity trends up, profits follow. When it trends down, losses are coming. But here's the beauty. You can fix process immediately. You can't fix randomness. Today, identify your number 1 process leak. Common ones. Entering before full confirmation. Moving stops mid-trade. Sizing up after wins. Skipping daily review. Pick one. Track it for 5 days. Reward yourself for each day you plug the leak. Consider, what process habits would I develop if P&L was hidden for 90 days? Where am I sacrificing process for potential profit? What would my trading look like if I only cared about execution quality? Amateur traders chase outcomes. Professional traders, perfect process. The market eventually pays those who deserve it, and deserving is about process, not luck. You can't control what the market gives, but you can control what you deserve. Focus on deserving through process. The rewards handle themselves. Process is powerful, but what about the mental game under pressure? Section 10, Mental Mastery, your psychological edge. What separates a trader who cracks under pressure from one who thrives in chaos? It's not strategy, it's not experience, it's mental conditioning. Think about it. Navy SEALs don't just learn to shoot. They learn to shoot while exhausted, underwater, with explosions nearby. Surgeons don't just learn procedures. They learn to cut precisely while alarms blare and lives hang in balance. Trading demands the same mental training, because knowing your setup means nothing if you can't execute when it matters. The difference between surviving and thriving? Having mental tools you can deploy on demand. Your mental edge toolkit. The morning mind prep. Before markets open, you're either priming for success or hoping for luck. Visualization. Sequence. 5 minutes. See your A+ setup forming. Feel yourself waiting patiently. Watch yourself entering calmly. Experience managing professionally. See yourself reviewing objectively. You're not predicting. You're rehearsing excellence. Olympic athletes do this. So should you. The breath anchor protocol. Your breath controls your psychology more than any indicator. Before every trade, 4-4-4-4 box breathing. Check. Am I breathing from chest, stress, or belly, calm? 3 conscious exhales longer than inhales. Enter only when breath is steady. This isn't woo-woo, it's biochemistry. Slow breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Better decisions follow. The verbal circuit breaker. When emotions spike, your internal dialogue goes haywire. I need this win. I can't take another loss. Everyone else is making money. Interrupt with spoken truth. I'm feeling FOMO, not seeing edge. This emotion is data, not direction. I trade my plan, not my feelings. Speaking out loud engages different brain regions. It breaks the emotional loop before it becomes action. The reset ritual. High-intensity trades leave residue. Win or lose, you need a clean slate. 90-second reset. Save and close the chart. Stand and do 5 squats. Drink water mindfully. Write one line. What did that trade teach me? Return fresh. This prevents winning streaks from becoming overconfidence, and losing streaks from becoming revenge spirals. The pressure protocol. When big moments arrive, key levels, news, size, pressure spikes. Breathe. Method. Breath check. Steady it. Rules review. What's my plan? Emotion label. What am I feeling? Alignment check. Does this fit my playbook? Time pause. Count to 5. Handle execution or skip. This becomes automatic with practice. Let me show you the power of mental training. Serena had a revenge trading problem. Every loss led to immediate re-entry with size. She installed one mental tool. I cannot re-enter until I've taken 10 belly breaths and written why I want this trade. That 60-second protocol broke a pattern that cost her thousands. Not through willpower, through mental conditioning. Your 30-day mental training plan. Week 1, breath mastery. Practice box breathing 3 times daily, not just while trading. Notice breath pattern before each trade. Rate calmness, 1 to 10 before clicking. Week 2, add visualization. Morning 5-minute success rehearsal. Visualize handling losses professionally. See yourself following rules under pressure. Week 3, verbal tools. State emotions aloud before trades. Use circuit breaker phrases. Narrate your process while trading. Week 4, full integration. Complete pre-trade ritual. Reset after every position. Use breathe method for high-pressure moments. By day 30, these aren't techniques, they're who you are. Pick one mental tool. Use it for every trade tomorrow. No exceptions. Track the difference in your decision quality. Start with breath. It's the foundation everything builds on. Ask yourself, what mental state produces my best trades? How can I access that state on demand? What would change if I had unshakable calm? Your mind isn't fixed, it's trainable. And traders who train mentally outperform those who only study charts. Every professional athlete has mental training. Every elite performer uses these tools. Trading is no different. The edge isn't just in your analysis. It's in your ability to execute that analysis under pressure. Mental tools are how you bridge that gap. Use them or be used by your emotions. You have the tools. Now let's talk about staying power. Section 11. The Survivor's Edge. Why staying power beats talent. Let's be brutally honest. Most traders don't fail because they're stupid. They fail because they quit too soon. The market is undefeated at breaking confidence. And unless you understand why staying power matters more than talent, you'll become another statistic. Here's what nobody tells you about trading survival. The market tests patience more than skill. You can have the perfect strategy, the ideal setup, the right training. But if you can't survive the psychological marathon, none of it matters. Why most traders quit. The inner dialogue of defeat. 6 months and I'm still losing. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Everyone else seems to get it faster. This is just sophisticated gambling. The external pressure. Family asking, when will you get a real job? Friends not understanding your path. Social media showing everyone else winning. Bills piling up while you're learning. The emotional exhaustion. Right trades that lose. Wrong trades that win. Watching perfect setups you didn't take moon. Feeling like you're running in place. But here's what separates survivors from statistics. Understanding the timeline truth. Trading has 3 phases. Phase 1. Unconscious incompetence. Months 1 to 6. You don't know what you don't know. Everything feels possible. Losses feel like bad luck. Phase 2. Conscious incompetence. Months 6 to 18. You realize how much you don't know. Everything feels impossible. This is where 90% quit. Phase 3. Conscious competence. Year 2+. You know what works for you. Execution becomes systematic. Profits become predictable. Most quit in Phase 2, right before breakthrough. Let me tell you about James. 10 months in, still bleeding. Girlfriend said, quit. Parents questioned his sanity. He almost listened. Then one night, exhausted, he wrote, The only difference between me and profitable traders, they survived longer through the same pain I'm feeling. That reframe changed everything. He gave himself 12 more months, not to get rich, to get consistent. Month 13, first break-even month. Month 16, first profitable quarter. Month 20, full-time trader. Year 3, 6 figures. Not because he was special, because he stayed. Your anti-quit system. Define your quit criteria now. Write down what would make you stop. Be specific. Then ask, is this reasonable for a performance profession? Would you expect a doctor to profit in 6 months? A pilot to fly solo in 3? Why expect trading mastery faster? Measure progress, not just profit. Track evolution metrics. Fewer impulsive trades, better risk management, cleaner execution, faster recovery from tilt, more consistent review. These improve before profits do. Build your why arsenal. List 5 reasons you trade beyond money: mental challenge, freedom potential, personal growth, proving capability, building a skill. Review weekly when motivation dips. Find your survivors. Connect with traders 6-12 months ahead. Not the Instagram millionaires, the grinders still building. Their survival normalizes your struggle. Embrace the suck. Stop expecting it to get easier. Start expecting to get stronger. The market doesn't get less challenging. You get more capable. The compound effect of staying. Every month you survive, you gain. Pattern recognition. Emotional calluses. Technical refinement. Psychological durability. These compound invisibly. Then suddenly, you're profitable. Not because you found the secret, because you stayed long enough for competence to compound. Write your trading survival commitment. I will give myself 2 months to develop consistency. I will measure progress by LSV/XI, not just P&L. I will not quit until jurist. Sign it, date it, read it on hard days. Consider, what would I miss if I quit now? Who would I become if I stayed? Is my timeline realistic for mastery? The market pays those who stay. Not because staying is noble, because staying is rare. Most quit at month 8. Breakthroughs happen at month 14. Do the math. Trading success isn't reserved for the talented. It's reserved for the persistent. Your job isn't to be perfect. It's to still be here when perfection becomes possible. For those who stay, something magical happens. Section 12. The experience dividend. What veterans see. After enough screen time, something shifts. You stop seeing just candles. You start seeing the humans behind them. This isn't about chart patterns. It's about pattern recognition in the invisible layer, the psychology driving price. Veterans see what novices miss, when confidence becomes complacency, where fear creates opportunity, how greed builds tops, why hope holds losers. When capitulation arrives, let me show you what experience reveals. The invisible architecture. After 1,000 plus hours of screen time, patterns emerge. Morning traders versus afternoon traders. Different risk appetites, different time frames, different reactions to news. You start seeing Wei Chu is trading, not just what. The institutional tell. How they accumulate, patient, scaled. How they distribute, aggressive, urgent. Their favorite times to run stops. The retail parade. FOMO entries at exact wrong times. Panic exits into institutional bids. The obvious trades that always fail. This isn't magic. It's pattern recognition from repetition. What coaches? See that you don't. Remember Adam? Monthly spikes, then crashes. Blamed volatility. Coach saw it instantly. You size up after wins because your ego expanded, not your edge. One sentence. 6 months of losses explained. Coaches see. Sizing patterns that reveal confidence or fear. Exit timing that shows psychological pressure. Entry hesitation that exposes doubt. Review avoidance after specific losses. The profitable bad habits that eventually blow you up. Distance creates clarity. Experience creates distance. Building your coach's eye. You don't need 10 years to develop veteran vision. You need deliberate practice. The pattern journal. Beyond tracking trades, track who got trapped. Retail bought tops. When algorithms kicked in, where obvious stops got run, why the perfect setup failed, how the market punished consensus. the human behind the chart. For each major move, ask, who's in pain here? Who's taking profits? What emotion is driving this? Where would I be trapped if I was late? Study your own evolution. Every month, review your trades from 6 months ago. You'll be shocked what you see. Obvious mistakes you don't make anymore. Patterns you now recognize instantly. Emotional trades that seem crazy now. Progress invisible day to day. The levels of seeing. Level 1, chart mechanics, months 1 to 6. Support and resistance, basic patterns, indicators. Level 2, price action, month 6-12. Order flow, volume stories, momentum shifts. Level 3, participant psychology, year 2+. Who's trapped? Who's in control? What emotion dominates? Level 4, market personality, years 3+. How this market differs from others. Personality shifts intraday. Algo versus human behavior. Level 5, self-mastery. Ongoing, your patterns within patterns. Predictive self-awareness, preemptive adjustments. Each level builds on the previous. You can't skip steps. The compound effect. Every trade you take, every review you complete, every pattern you recognize, it all compounds into what veterans call feel, not mystical intuition, subconscious pattern recognition from thousands of data points. Your brain building shortcuts, your experience creating edge. This week, practice veteran vision. Pick one winning trade and one losing trade. Map out WHO was on each side. Identify what emotion created the move. Write what a veteran would have seen that you missed. Do this for 10 trades. Watch your perception shift. Ask yourself, what patterns do I see now that I was blind to before? Where am I still seeing charts instead of humans? What would 3 years from now me see that I'm missing? Time in the market beats timing the market, not because of luck, because of pattern library. Every day you trade, you're building a database. Every review, you're training recognition. Every survival, you're earning wisdom. Veterans don't have better strategies. They have better pattern recognition. They see the game behind the game. And that vision comes from one thing, staying in long enough to develop it. This journey transforms more than your trading. Section 13, the philosophy of risk, trading as life practice. By now you understand, trading isn't just about making money. It's about who you become in the process. Because here's what nobody tells you when you start. Trading is philosophy and practice. Every trade is a meditation on risk, reward, and reality. Every decision reveals your relationship with uncertainty. The market doesn't just test your strategy, it tests your character. Trading mirrors, how you trade reflects how you live. In trading, chase setups from FOMO. Cut winners early from fear. Hold losers hoping for reversal. Revenge trade after pain. In life, chase relationships from loneliness. Leave opportunities early from doubt. Stay in bad situations hoping for change. Make reactive decisions after hurt. The patterns are identical because the psychology is identical. Mel discovered this 6 months into trading. Her need to control charts equaled need to control relationships. Her market FOMO equaled life FOMO. Her loss reactions equaled unprocessed past failures. As she healed her trading, she healed her life. As she developed market patience, she developed life patience. Trading became therapy with a P&L. Uncertainty is the only certainty. Markets teach what schools don't. Plans are hypotheses, not promises. Control is illusion. Adaptation is power. The best decision can have bad outcomes. Success requires comfort with ambiguity. Process transcends. Results. You learn to judge actions by quality, not outcome. Find meaning in discipline, not just profit. Celebrate invisible progress. Trust time to reveal truth. Pain is information. Markets teach that. Losses aren't failures, they're feedback. Discomfort indicates growth edges. Avoiding pain creates more pain. Processing pain creates wisdom. Identity is fluid. Through trading, you discover you're not your last trade. You're not your account balance. You're not your winning streak. You are your commitments and growth. Presence is power. The market demands full attention to now, release of past trades, no projection to future, complete presence to what is. Trading as spiritual practice. Some call the market the world's most expensive therapist because it reflects with brutal honesty your greed, your fear, your ego, your growth. Every day you sit with charts, you're sitting with yourself. Every trade is a conversation with your edge, both market edge and personal edge. The philosophical framework. Accept what is. The market is always right. Fighting reality creates suffering. Acceptance enables action. Control what you can. Your preparation, your execution, your review, your growth. Release what you can't. Market movements, other traders' results, past decisions, future outcomes. Focus on becoming. Who is this trade making me? What quality am I developing? How am I growing through this? The ultimate reframe. Stop thinking, I trade to make money. Start thinking, I trade to master myself. Money becomes the byproduct. Mastery becomes the purpose. And mastery in one area bleeds into all areas. The patience you build waiting for setups helps you wait for life opportunities. The discipline you develop following stops helps you maintain life boundaries. The resilience from drawdowns prepares you for life's inevitable valleys. Write your trading philosophy statement. I trade not just to more, but to become or. Make it about character, not just capital. Then ask, how does this apply beyond charts? Consider, what parallel exists between my trading struggles and life struggles? How has trading changed how I handle uncertainty elsewhere? What would it mean to apply my trading rules to life decisions? Markets are mirrors, charts are teachers, trades are practice. For what? For becoming someone who can thrive in uncertainty, act with discipline, learn from pain, and grow through challenge. The money is nice, the mastery is priceless. In the end, trading isn't about conquering markets, it's about conquering yourself. And every trader who lasts long enough discovers the real profit is who you become. Ready to make it real? Section 14, the implementation blueprint. Your next 90 days. Knowledge without action is philosophy. Knowledge with action is power. You've learned the principles. Now, let's make them real. Here's your complete 90-day implementation blueprint. Everything we've covered, systematized for action. The foundation phase, days 130. Build your core. Week 1, assessment and setup. Install screen recording software. Find one accountability partner. Take the honesty inventory. Rate your current trading 1 to 10 on each area we covered. Identify your 3 biggest gaps. Choose one to focus on first. Week 2, playbook creation. Document your first A+ setup completely. Include all elements, context requirements, entry and exit rules, risk parameters, common mistakes, emotional states. Test it in replay mode. Week 3, review system installation. Begin daily 10-minute reviews. Start weekly deep dives. Create your process scorecard. Track one behavior metric. Week 4, mental training begins. Install one mental tool. Start with breathing. Practice morning visualization. Begin tracking physical state. Create pre-trade ritual. Daily non-negotiables. 1 good trade focus. Process score tracking. 10-minute review. Accountability check-in. The evolution phase. Days 3160. Deepen your practice. Week 5 to 6. Advanced playbook. Add dimensional analysis to your setup. Document variations. Track success by context. Refine rules based on data. Week 7 to 8. Video truth. Review all flagged trades on video. Identify top 3 behavioral patterns. Create specific interventions. Share findings with accountability partner. Week 9 to 10. Biology mastery. Map your nervous system patterns. Install state check protocols. Practice regulation techniques. Track correlation with results. Daily evolution. Morning visualization. 5 min. Breath work before trades. Video review of one trade. Process celebration ritual. The integration phase. Days 6190. Become the system. Week 11 SEER 12. Identity embodiment. Live your identity statement. Make decisions as your future self. Track identity alignment. Course correct without judgment. At week 13-14, advanced mental game. Use full breathe protocol. Master verbal circuit breakers. Implement reset rituals. Achieve consistent green zone trading. Week 15-16, philosophy integration. Apply trading principles to life. Journal parallel insights. Share wisdom with others. Prepare for long-term journey. Daily mastery. Complete morning routine, trade-only A-plus setups, full review process, mental training session, one process win celebration. Your 90-day success metrics. Track these weekly, behavioral metrics, percentage of trades from playbook, average process score, days with full review, emotional regulation success, growth metrics, patterns identified, adjustments made, lessons documented, identity alignment. Not tracking yet, P&L comparison, win rate obsession, others results, perfect execution. The weekly rhythm, Monday, week planning, goal setting, Tuesday, Thursday, execution focus, Friday, weekly review, pattern recognition, weekend, deep study, mental training, rest. Common 90-day pitfalls, trying to do everything at once. Solution, one focus per week, skipping reviews when winning. Solution, reviews are non-negotiable, comparing to others. Solution, track only your progress, expecting linear progress. Solution, embrace the waves, quitting at day 60. Solution, commit to full 90 up front. Your daily checklist, morning identity statement reading, visualization practice, one good trade intention, trading, breath check before entries, process focus over profit, state awareness tracking, evening, 10-minute review, process score, one win celebration, tomorrow's focus. Write and sign, I commit to 90 days of process-focused trading. I will measure progress by behavior, not just profit. I will not quit when it gets hard. I am becoming a professional trader. Name, that's date, that's accountability. Partner, that's Dharma. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start this Monday. Imperfect action beats perfect procrastination. If you do this work, imperfectly but consistently, you won't just trade better in 90 days. You'll be better. The market will still be there. The question is, will you be ready for it? Your transformation starts now. Section 15, the final truth. Mastery is a journey, not a destination. We've covered systems, psychology, biology, philosophy. But here's the final truth that ties it all together. Trading mastery isn't a destination you reach. It's a way of being you practice. Every day, every trade, every review. The market keeps teaching because it keeps changing. And you keep learning because you keep growing. The journey never ends, and that's the beauty. Think about it. Musicians don't stop practicing after Carnegie Hall. Athletes don't stop training after gold medals. Surgeons don't stop studying after successful operations. Why would traders stop growing after profitability? The game evolves, markets shift, new patterns emerge, old edges fade. But if you've built the foundation we've covered, self-awareness, process discipline, mental tools, review habits, growth mindset, you don't just survive change, you thrive on it. The 3 stages of mastery. Stage 1, learning the game, years 1 to 2, building basic competence. Developing your edge, surviving drawdowns, finding your style. Stage 2, playing the game, years, yas, wave, consistent execution, refined edge, emotional stability, growing capital. Stage 3, transcending the game, years set at 5+. Trading becomes meditation, process becomes art, money becomes byproduct, teaching becomes purpose. Each stage brings new challenges, new lessons, new growth. The master's mindset. Masters know every loss still teaches, every win can mislead, every day requires presence, every trade is practice. They don't trade to prove anything. They trade to express their edge. They don't need the market to validate them. They validate themselves through process. Your ongoing evolution. As you continue this journey, remember, keep the beginner's mind. Stay curious about markets. Question your assumptions. Learn from everyone. Admit what you don't know. Maintain the professional's discipline. Never abandon process. Always review trades. Keep refining your edge. Respect risk always. Embrace the philosopher's perspective. See beyond profit and loss. Find meaning in growth. Share wisdom freely. Stay humble in victory. The community you build. Trading can be lonely, but it doesn't have to be. As you grow, you'll find accountability partners become friends. Competitors become colleagues. Students become teachers. The journey becomes shared. Give back what you learn, teach what you know, support those behind you, learn from those ahead. The ultimate success metric. Years from now, success won't be measured by your account size, your win rate, your famous trades, your social media following. It will be measured by who you became, what you learned, how you grew, who you helped. The final challenge. After reading all of this, you have 3 choices. File it away as interesting information. Try a few ideas for a couple weeks. Commit fully to transformation. Only one choice leads to mastery. Your next action. Right now, before you close this, choose your starting point. Set your 90-day commitment date. Find your accountability partner. Take the first imperfect action. Because the distance between where you are and where you want to be isn't measured in knowledge, it's measured in implementation. The market is waiting. Every day you delay is a day of growth lost. Every excuse is an edge unpracticed. Every tomorrow is a pattern repeated. But every action, however small, is progress. Every review is wisdom gained. Every disciplined trade is identity built. You now have everything you need, not to be perfect, but to begin. Remember this above all. Trading isn't about conquering the market. It's about conquering yourself. It's not about the money you make. It's about the person you become. It's not about reaching a destination. It's about who you are on the journey. The market will test you, break you, rebuild you, transform you. But only if you stay, only if you practice, only if you grow. Welcome to the real game. The charts are your dojo. The market is your teacher. Every trade is your practice. And mastery? Mastery is not a place you arrive. It's a way you travel. Now go trade, not just with knowledge, not just with systems, but with soul. Because in the end, that's what separates those who survive from those who thrive. They didn't just learn to trade, they learned to evolve. And evolution never ends. 10 years from now, you'll either be a statistic who quit or a master who stayed. The choice is made not in a moment of inspiration, but in the daily decisions to show up, review, learn, and grow. Make those decisions. Trust the process. Become who you're capable of becoming. The market doesn't care about your dreams, but it rewards those who earn their place through dedication. Earn yours. See you in the arena.